Hello everyone, this is Carbonomics. I had someone on Twitter point out something to me the other day. It really put some things into perspective. Funding is not as much of an issue for carbon projects as it is for traditional mining projects, in the first world anyway. I previously thought the main issue for carbon royalty companies would be that they would essentially need to spread themselves too thin, buying up a variety of royalties to have any substantial revenue figures. And that can be taxing on manpower and get increasingly confusing. But that's, more manageable and predictable. The largest issue that these companies can face is that they simply might not be necessary in the future. Think about it for a minute here. The mining sector certainly has its differences from the carbon markets, but overall, carbon projects take less time to develop. There's decreasingly strict regulation in the carbon markets, and significantly more capital is available for projects in safe jurisdictions. There are plenty of large, reputable companies, even like Apple and Microsoft buying up carbon projects in the first world. So these royalty companies have to go outside of the first world in the safe jurisdictions to find projects worth investing in, ones that could actually generate a good return for the company. Whether it be carbon streaming, base carbon, or one of the other royalty companies, they all have been largely targeting projects outside of North America or Europe, with the exception of Star Royalties, which is only targeting projects in North America. And that is a rarity. And, this is not a coincidence. This isn't to say that there isn't immense opportunity investing in these carbon royalty companies either. I plan on investing in base carbon myself pretty soon here. But compare the portfolio of royalty streams from one of the carbon royalty players to, Franco-Nevada, the largest precious metals royalty company. Now, obviously, Franco-Nevada has more projects under its belt, but look at the locations of their assets here. The vast majority is in North America or Australia. Fantastic jurisdictions for the most part, although there are some areas of these regions that are, more unfriendly to mining. This brings up a variety of issues for carbon royalty companies. Are regulations up to par in these questionable jurisdictions? Do these countries view the carbon projects as a positive, or do they view them as foreigners exploiting their resources? Just as countries may view mining projects in that light. With all this said, there's been no shortage of projects in the pipeline for these carbon royalty companies currently, and the attractiveness of the best companies with royalty business models is not to be understated. Take a look at Franco-Nevada's margins. Over 50% profit margins at the company. And it is reasonable to assume that carbon royalty companies could get similar margins, if not higher, given that IRRs are higher in the carbon space currently. Carbon project developers in riskier jurisdictions need the capital, and there lies the opportunity for these royalty players to come in and generate, pretty substantial returns. And there's a growing opportunity here for us as retail investors. There's very little institutional ownership in these companies right now, if any, or even general investor interest at all. Over the past year, carbon streaming is down 85% and over 90% from its peak at the end of 2021. There have been a variety of reasons for this, many of which I have covered in a video that I'll link in the description below. But as you can see from base carbon's chart here, the stock really hasn't moved and is quite a bit down from its original listing as well. And here's another player, Star Royalties. Albeit it's a company with gold and carbon royalties as well. Their stock price has been cut in half, so sentiment could not be much worse in this space, I'll say. Well, things could always get worse temporarily, but you get the point. But these companies are starting to generate revenues. Carbon streaming and base carbon have a lot of cash sitting on their balance sheet still. Even if these companies have to go to riskier parts of the world, diversification of their portfolios over time will significantly de-risk these companies. For the most part, they've done that already by growing their royalty streams. So this is an exciting time for the space. Absolutely no one's talking about this sector, at least not on a regular basis like I do. I'm one of the very few people on social media that solely talks about this sector, if not the only one, to be honest. And that right there screams opportunity to me. So yeah, I haven't made any investments into these companies yet, but like I said, I am looking into starting a position in base carbon. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the video here. If you liked it, please remember to like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to not miss my next video. Thanks for watching.